Hi, this is Rochelle with Live in Vibrancy, and in this video, I'm going to unpack a video that I made last week about thinking about your SP and not pushing them away. And then in a video that I already made, I mentioned that if that original video brought up fear or doubt for you, it's a good opportunity for you to look at your attachment to outcome. Because anything we're attached to automatically creates a subtle level of fear and anxiety that we might lose it. And that's because energy always seeks an equilibrium. So if you're invested a high level of importance into something, not only will that cause you to experience a degree of suffering, because attachment creates suffering, right? This is that fear and anxiety, but it also invites an opposing energy to balance it out. And so thinking about your specific person, if you're doing that with attachment, then that energy is, the thinking about them is up here, and the attachment, this is where we create the anxiety. And so this is a lower level energy, and essentially it creates a balance. And so maybe you've heard about this. It's called excess energy. It's also called excess potential or excess importance. And so energy, as I said, always seeks that equilibrium. Just like an ice cube will melt, and the water that will come, the water that it melts into will come to be equal temperature as the room. And so this is also why getting into the energy of having it is so powerful, because energy always seeks to create an equilibrium. So when you get into the energy of having it, it actually changes the path you're directing your energy towards. Whereas indifference to outcome allows you to regulate and direct your own personal energy in a really powerful way, in the direction that you want it to go. And so while I'm not going to dive into really letting go of attachment in this video, I have linked a couple in the description in which I'm talking about letting go and why we do it, and sort of, I give you an exercise to sort of demonstrate the feeling of what it's like, attachment versus non-attachment. And I've also got a follow-up video coming out right away with an exercise to help you work on managing and releasing attachment. Okay, so getting on back on track with unpacking this, unpacking the other video in this video. Too many videos. Thinking about your specific person is pushing them away. Okay, so first of all, can I just say how much I love the great dialogue that this opened in the comments? I made that video because, as I'm about to explain, there are about 4 reasons that you might want to shift your relationship to thinking about your specific person, or thinking about your manifestation, because it doesn't matter whether, what it is. It doesn't matter. It could be money. It could be work, it could be a business, it could be, it could be a lot of things. In fact, I remember a post once in a group that I'm in, someone talking about how they were trying to manifest. They had like a winter mountain bike and it had been stolen, and it was a really expensive bike. And they were doing all the things, they were thinking about it, and they were visualizing, and they were really upset that it had been a number of years and they'd still not been able to manifest this bike back, because they were doing the things that I'm talking about in this video. Manifesting, I say it all the time, it's not a doing process. It's a process of being and feeling. And so again, I want to be clear. I'm not asking you to never think about your specific person or any other thing you're manifesting. I'm telling you to get curious and be introspective and just really ask yourself if you're giving your energy away, because the way that you think of something makes all the difference. So number 1, I made this video because I was talking to quite a few people who are really exhausting themselves. Like I said, visualizing, thinking about their specific person constantly, affirming, doing all the things. And while not everyone, for quite a few people, this energy is putting that other person or that winter mountain bike on a pedestal. And so putting someone or something on a pedestal is actually a form of the shadow, particularly when it's a person, not so much a thing. But it's called the golden shadow that's showing up. And so when you elevate someone, not only, I can really talk, I promise. Too many thoughts running through my head all at one time. So not only do you lower yourself and your own perception of your value in a really subtle and insidious way, but you also make that other person the key holder for your happiness. You have to put your own you literally, you don't have to, in fact, you should not. You have put your happiness in that other person's pocket. And so if they walk away, you have given them the key to your happiness. And so you've given away your personal value and your personal power. And so the best way to take someone off a pedestal is retracting your energy. And like I've said before, you are infinite, but you have to be able to like dust off the misconceptions that shroud that, because creation really comes from within you. So retracting your energy, like I said, it's literally drawing your focus in and putting it on yourself. And this is how you stop putting someone on a pedestal. So I'm going to probably do a video unpacking retracting because it's got some specific parts to it, but essentially in a nutshell, it's really, it's a powerful practice, and it really is about putting your energy and your attention on you. And so, okay, and again, I say none of this from judgment because I totally have had the experience of putting someone on a pedestal, of thinking about them incessantly, of using them, of thinking them in ways that I'm going to detail in here. And that's why I know what's going on. Because I've done it and I noticed, this doesn't work. And oh yeah, this one does. So yeah, I 100% have done that. And I promise though, when I put someone on a pedestal, that is not when I was effectively manifesting what I wanted. So, okay. Number 2, aside from putting someone on a pedestal, I can count. Oh boy, it's the end of the day. I had a long day. So aside from putting someone on a pedestal and feeding attachment, which I'm not saying is the case again for everyone, but there are those who are thinking of their specific person as a form of like escape from their current life. And I'm guilty of this one, and that's how I know, because I recognized. This is maladaptive daydreaming. And it's an indication that you're resisting your current experience. There are feelings that you're not feeling. There are feelings to feel, and you're daydreaming instead of feeling them, when in fact, feeling your feelings is important. And I talk about that a little later. So, I mean, I understand the maladaptive daydreaming, just the constantly like escaping reality. It can feel really good. Like I said, I'm guilty of it, but I also have not got a lot of work done when I'm doing that, or sometimes I might let other things in my life fall off. And also, this is not where your power is. So this takes me to number 3. The main problem with slipping, thinking about your specific person is because you're slipping often into future thinking. And your power is actually in the present moment. The past and the future, they don't exist. Life is now. It's a series of now and now and now and now. So everything you want to create, all possibility, actually exists in this moment. And this was a really heady idea the first time I ever heard it. But when it really sunk in, when I really recognized the power of manifesting in the present moment, is undeniable, because it's really manifesting is about feeling right now like you are the person who has it, not feeling like it's yours in the future, not looking around to see if you have it, getting into that feeling of being the person who has it. And I talk a lot in all of my videos. There's sort of like a group of feelings that this falls in, and they are like neutral, calm, relief. And if you are in a really good place, your heart space. But a lot of people have blocks around their heart space. And that's why I always tell you to aim for calm relief, because if you're in a negative space about it, calm relief is a lot closer than your heart space might be. Although this is really very powerful. And I'm going to talk about that a little more too. So If you're escaping your present moment, you're really sending your energy into the future. And like I said, possibility and the power to create really exist in this moment, in this present moment. So sending it into the future actually leaks your energy and it puts your manifestation into the distance. There's so much power in presence. I mean, look at Eckhart Tolle, how he completely changed his life really by just being present. And so a decision, because I like to talk about how manifesting is about a decision that you make in presence carries incredible weight, and that you come back to presence when you notice that you're slipping into fear or you're slipping into doubt. And I talk about this all the time when I say, like, move into that feeling of if you were in this moment and you knew that you were going to have it in 3 days, because then that allows you to marry that experience together of having it and like being present. And so this is really, it's a powerful tool that I use. And if you don't, it's a free one that I give you all the time. I highly recommend it. Because in the present moment, you're not going to suffer. You can't have attachment when you're being fully present. And so I just want to also confirm that I'm actually not contradicting Neville. He didn't say think of your desire. He said think from your desire. So a quote from The Feeling of the Wish Fulfilled is, the ideal you seek and hope to attain will not manifest itself, will not be realized by you until you have imagined that you are already that ideal. And that simple shift, that's an internal shift of feeling and experience. Okay, so and finally, and in my opinion, this one is by far the most important, is number 4. You are not embodied when you're in your head. And in a few moments, I hope you'll understand why that really matters. Aside from being embodied, puts you in direct communication with your subconscious, which I say over and over all the time, is your body. Because although it is connected to the mind, the part of the brain that is the subconscious is quite a small aspect of it. And then the rest of it is all the nervous system wiring. And this is all essentially brain body. And so being embodied allows you to receive all the thoughts that are coming in through your body. And then when I say all, I'm really like exaggerating, because there are thousands of them or millions of them, like bits of information that your body takes in, and your mind can only filter out like a few thousand of it, I think. Again, my stats are, I have the resources available. I can look that up. I just don't have the stats in my brain. Okay. So I don't really teach techniques, and not because they don't work, because when they do work, they are acting as a placebo. And I've said this before. And just like placebos and medication, they work for some and not for others, because creation comes from within. An identity shift comes literally from learning how to let go of your limiting stories and beliefs and claim your true infinite and expansive capacity. And the key to this is understanding that your identity is how you feel about yourself in any situation. Because your mind will layer a story on top of whatever is going on in your body. And so, and granted, not always. The conscious mind, you know, it does a lot, but it is the limited mind. And so when you want to really understand what's going on, what your limitations are, the conscious mind, usually it's when the subconscious kicks in, right? And so you're having a response that you don't necessarily have control over. These are the doorways. These are the keys to really step into your limitless nature. So the language of the subconscious, as I mentioned, because it's the body, right? Or a good vast majority of it is the body. Its language is emotion and images, not words. So words are the language of the conscious, and they must accompany feeling and or imagery in order to impress the subconscious. And this is where a lot of people fall short with affirmations. And I know I can give affirmations a really hard time, and it's not necessarily because they don't work, it's because most people don't have all the information. And so if you really try to source your power from outside of you, not only are you rejecting your divine birthright as an expansive infinite being, it's also temporary and unpredictable. And so focusing outside of yourself spreads your energy. And when your energy is scattered, you look more to the external to continue to fill you up. But if you believe that you don't already have it within you, the coupling to that belief is that you believe you have to get it from something outside of you. And you're operating from a belief system that will forever have you chasing something outside of yourself when creation comes from within. So there's no compliment from another person that's going to stay with you, and it's going to create the level of like self-esteem and self-belief that you will have when you authentically praise and highly evaluate yourself. And because I say you can't think any higher than you or any better than you feel, if you feel negatively, you can say positive things about yourself. And if it's not a deep-seated belief, you can shift that. And if it doesn't shift that, then you have to start at the internal energy. And so for this reason, as I said, I offer no magic pills, just solid energy management. Because Tesla spoke of the secret. He said, if you want to find the secrets, if you want to know, oh boy, if you want to know the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. The language of the universe is energy and vibration, and your emotions are energy. You'll know that if you've ever really experienced like white hot rage. You are literally a spiritual being having a human experience. And the vehicle through which you're having that experience is this intelligent biological system you call a body. And your body and mind are operated by energy. Your cells are specialized to conduct electrical currents, and a disruption in those electrical currents can lead to illness. Not woo-woo. That's courtesy of the University of Maryland Graduate School. The nervous system uses electricity to send signals to the brain. If you've ever felt, like I said, that white hot rage, then you know exactly what energy runs through your body. And it expands out into your energy field. There are experiments demonstrating the human energy field expanding and contracting, and you can probably find one of those videos, like a video of one of those demonstrations here on YouTube somewhere. Your energy field is powerful. Don't dissipate it. In fact, your energy, your amazing biological system, which also gives off light photons, has enough energy to explode a force of like 30 large hydrogen bombs if you could figure out how to release it. So, you know, to quote Dolores Cannon, and again, as usual, this is not going to be verbatim, so I'm going to do my best not to slaughter it. But you basically come to Earth to learn to manipulate energy. Everything is energy. And so you come here to learn how to manipulate that, to be a master manifester. And the only limitations are the ones you put on yourself. And the thing about your powerful, intelligent biological system is that it runs all by itself if you let it. So when you are in an unconscious state, it auto-functions on survival instinct. And that biology is driven by lack and fear and reward. It's that lack that drives you for food, and the dopamine that's released when you get that food is the reward, aside from, not dying. And the fear that prompts you to stick to the familiar. So this is your subconscious speaking to you when there is fear. Attachment also happens when your intelligent biological system is running on its own. And that is also part of the fear, lack, reward system. And so not only does your intelligent biological system run on its own if you let it, it creates unconscious things that we don't necessarily want because it's creating from fear and lack and validation, which essentially is reward, which is driven by fear and lack. And the thing is, and I talk about this a lot, focus within. The thing is, when you pay attention to something outside of you, your body automatically kicks in your automatic functions. You go unconscious. So that means that you can focus on what's outside of you, and when that happens, you're no longer managing the full breadth of the energy you have available to you. Now, there are varying degrees of levels of unconsciousness as you're focusing outside of yourself, but that is why your power is within, and you are here literally to learn to master this energy. The first level of energy mastery is to learn to master your own internal energy, because you cannot work with the energy outside of you effectively, or at least consistently, if you haven't mastered your own internal energy. And so it starts with emotions and perceptions. And just to be clear, when I say master your emotions, I never mean repression and I never mean suppression. That's just really how to get stuck in a loop. And I had a really interesting conversation earlier today about energy patterns. And so I absolutely want to do a video on this because I want you to understand that we operate in energy patterns. Anyway, so I, as usual, get off topic. Okay. So when you learn to manage your energy, your life changes and you begin to manipulate the energy outside of you. It's a byproduct. It's not like the physical world where I go do these things. If I want to put on my sweater, I have to go and I pick it up and I do these things outside of myself. Energy management is not that. It's the law of correspondence. As above, so below. As within, so without. In fact, the people that I work with who have the most success are the ones who focus internally, who, when something outside of them is happening, they check in internally and then they resolve that. They don't worry about trying to change things outside of themselves, because everything they manifest outside of themselves is a byproduct of what's going on inside. And so this is why I talk about this ad nauseum. So even Everyone Is You Pushed Out is about energy management, because feeling is the secret. And it's an invitation to see your energy and your perceptions mirrored back to you through others. And just to clarify, because someone brought this up and I thought this is a good point, mirroring does not mean the same as you. It's in correlation to you. So for example, you cannot have a victim without a perpetrator. Yeah. Anyway, if someone is pulling away, there's always someone who's chasing. Anyway, so mirroring is more like wear a shirt with print on it and then go read your shirt in the mirror. It's opposite. It's this Alice through the looking glass kind of stuff. And so this is because when two people interrelate, their energy fields experience distortions and they merge. And we can actually even connect with people hundreds of miles away. And so this is actually a quote by Mohsen Paul Safarazzi, and he is a PhD dealing with, I can't remember, but essentially energy, and I believe he did some work with the HeartMath Institute. And so this is why distance doesn't matter unless you decide that it does, because your energy field responds to energy. And other people's energy fields also respond to energy. So your energy field responds to a traumatic event because the emotional energy involved. And that imprint leaves imprints that constrict your entire field and your energetic expansiveness. Because like the energy system of a building, it shuts down parts when there is a surge of energy that's too great for the system until you release it, and then that part will open. And so if you're not easily or consistently manifesting what you want, then there's likely a disruption in the energy, whether that's emotional energy or perception, and they tend to go hand in hand. And so to keep that energy flowing and process through those blocks, not only do you have to be willing to look at them, right? And so this is what I talked about in the video, You Are Magic, but you have to first be present in your life, which is why not being present is not the most powerful way to manifest. And if you aren't you're not present if you're living in the past or you're living in the future. And so really coming back to why I don't teach techniques, because the only difference between the person who makes a technique work and one who doesn't is a shift in their energy. And this is literally the only difference. When you change your energy, you change your results. And so I hope this was helpful. I feel like this was a really long video and I may potentially chop this up. However, I tend to go off on a lot of tangents, so we'll see how that goes. But if this was really valuable, let me know in the comments. Please share this video, like it, subscribe, all the things, and I will see you in the next one.